is going on, everybody? Welcome back here today to a NBA style talk video. And I'm sorry this is going to come out late. I just got home at about 5 o'clock. I know this news broke at like 1, 2 o'clock. Jimmy Butler was not just traded, a couple hours ago was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. And this is huge news. So I just got this news broken like right when I finished pledging. And Jimmy Butler was just traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. And I'm obviously going to talk about both sides of this. You guys will be getting a Jimmy Butler rebuild out later today. Probably around like 8, 9 o'clock Eastern. It's going to be a little bit later. I do apologize. And tomorrow I'll probably do, I think, like a realistic Timberwolves rebuild. Along with a double upload of maybe a historic rebuild. I think that's what's going to come out. So yeah, Jimmy Butler was just traded to the Philadelphia 76ers for Robert Covington, for Dario Saric, a second-round pick, and Jared Bayless, I believe. And they also got, the Sixers got Justin Patton in return, which is actually not a bad center, who's, I think, below the age of 23 from Wake Forest, I believe he went to. And then, obviously, well, I'll talk about the Sixers side of this first. So, the Sixers received Jimmy Butler. I have no idea what their starting five is going to be. Obviously, Fultz was starting, but does this knock him out of the starting five? And people want JJ Redick in there with Wilson Chandler. I know a lot of people on Twitter were thinking it's going to be Ben Simmons, Redick, Butler, Chandler, Embiid. Which, yeah, Saric you do lose your vital power forward guy when you really don't have somebody that can really step in on your roster as talented as Saric is. So, obviously, like Ben Simmons, when he was drafted, could have been in that position, and obviously in a perfect world, Fultz would have been that point guard, but Fultz has not been playing well whatsoever, and Simmons has shown himself to be the true floor general and not really a forward position type of guy. So, it's going to be very interesting to see how they roll with their starting five. Obviously, if this was 2K, you would roll out Fultz, Butler, Simmons, or Fultz, Redick, Butler, Simmons at the 4, and then Embiid at the 5. But honestly, having Fultz on your bench is a way to go. He can kind of take more shots and probably get into his groove off the bench, and he can kind of, gain his confidence off the bench. And that honestly might be the best decision to do. Because when you're like this, he's not in a good position whatsoever. His morale is probably super low, coming off a really forgettable rookie season, not playing whatsoever well in his sophomore season. I mean, he doesn't look terrible. I mean, he doesn't look number one pick worthy. He's just obviously not getting his shots and taking as many shots as he maybe should be taking. So I do agree, though, get his confidence, put him on the bench unit. He'll roll with the guys on the bench, and then your starting five should be Simmons, Redick, Butler at the 3, Wilson Chandler at the 4, which is interesting. That's where most teams would exploit. And then at the 5, you would have the best player on your team, Joel Embiid. And do we want to say Embiid's better than Butler? I think we could be starting to say that. But yeah, I think that's the Sixers. See, I was kind of concerned when I first heard the news because I was like, all right, this is a rental. He's going to be there this year. He's not going to want to stay in Philly. And this is going to set them back a little bit because they gave up Rocco, they gave up Saric, who were two, Rocco was on a pretty solid contract. Saric was obviously still on his rookie deal, which was very nice, and they would have still had a max deal to offer in the offseason. But there was a rumor, or not a rumor, Woj tweeted out that the Sixers are willing to offer him a 5-year supermax deal, or not a supermax, but a max deal of what they can do. They do have the cap space, and honestly, you're going to roll a core with Embiid, Simmons, Fultz, and Butler. That's pretty good. And even if Fultz doesn't pan out, Butler, Simmons, and Embiid is still very solid to have out there. And I think this is a W for the Sixers. I'll talk about more my opinions on the Timberwolves. Obviously, they're rating what I think of the trade in their side in a little bit. But I do think that the Sixers do win this trade. I wouldn't say if Butler leaves in free agency, it's an L. Same kind of talking about the Kawhi Leonard of last year, but that trade. But if he stays, this is a big dub for them. They get one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, arguably top 5 perimeter wing defender, and he's also a very talented offensive player, which you don't really get because you obviously have a guy like Andre Roberson, incredible defender. Can't play offense really whatsoever. So you get best of both worlds in Butler, and you add another great defender. Butler and Embiid in the same starting five is a very filthy 2 defensive players to have in the starting five that not many teams can have. And then, yeah, so I think adding Jimmy Butler is huge out of nowhere. Obviously, we all thought Miami was really going to be the destination. He ends up in Philly. Philly kind of gets that guy because they were always talked about in free agency with LeBron, we all know. And they do get Jimmy Butler. I don't know I don't think they will have cap space this offseason if they wanted to go after a superstar, like another one, if they re-sign Jimmy Butler, because I do think I don't know exactly how much salary cap they have right now. But yeah, Redick's contract will be up. Wilson Chandler's $12 million will be up. They got rid of Jared Bayless's $8 million, which is very convenient, but that would have been up anyway. Mike Muscala's $5 million will be up. Amir Johnson and Kirk Korkmaz, so they'll clear up about $20 million. And obviously Jimmy Butler's contract, what is he making, like $18 million, $20 million? It's gonna go up to around 30 something. But I think they'll still have enough. And hey, I don't know what big power forward is really in free agency. That I don't know, like Tobias Harris or somebody. Julius Randle would be actually an amazing signing for them. But if they go knock down that power forward spot, they're looking filthy. I don't think they get past the Eastern Conference Finals. I really don't see them beating Boston still in a 7-game series. I don't see them beating Toronto. And I don't really see them beating Milwaukee at all. I told you all about Milwaukee, and look at them. Yeah, people thought I was stupid for putting them as my projected 3 seed over Washington, Indiana, and Philly. And hey, look, they're one of the best teams in the NBA this year. So far. But yeah, that's for my Sixers side of things. I think this is a good trade for them if they re-sign Butler. If they don't re-sign Butler, then it's an L. It's an L. But if they do re-sign Butler, it's a dub in my eyes. And I'm very excited to see Jimmy Butler. He'll actually be able to want to be somewhere. So it'll be very exciting to see. Now on to the Timberwolves side of things. Obviously Jimmy Butler's value has declined a lot in the past. I would say 12, 14 months, 16 months. Obviously, if they decided to trade him, or they traded for him when he had 2 years left on his deal, we got last year. They made the playoffs. So, hey, if that's what they wanted to count as a success, is making the playoffs for the first time in a while, go for it. They gave up Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and the pick that ended up being Lauri Markkanen. Now, at the time, all 3 of those guys were unsure. LaVine's coming off the ACL injury. Dunn had a horrendous rookie year, and Markkanen was an unproved big man out of college who always gets the dirt comparisons. If you're a foreign big guy, you're going to get the dirt comparisons if you can shoot. And Markkanen had a very good rookie year. Chris Dunn had a very good sophomore year. And Zach LaVine, he was out most of last year, came back towards the end, and is killing it this year. So the Bulls obviously won that trade, if there was still any doubt that they didn't. And if we move on, hypothetically, they traded those 3 for Robert Covington, a 2022 second-round pick, Jared Bayless, and Dario Saric. Now, it's not the worst return. Obviously, Saric and Towns is going to be such a bad defensive front court. They'll throw Rocco in there. I'm sure they'll throw Wiggins at the shooting guard and obviously keep starting D. Rose. It's not going to look good in Minnie. Obviously, it's not going to look good in Minnesota. But this is a good return. It's better than them getting nothing from him in free agency. Yes, I would have rather personally had Whiteside, Richardson, and a protected first, sure. Or there was probably some other teams that threw some weird offers. I would have rather had probably Kuzma straight up, but I don't know if LA would have did that. But yeah, Timberwolves, you don't want to make the playoffs this year. You really don't. You want to try to get, I hope they have their pick this year. You want to get a top 10 pick to pair up. Either it's a point guard, either it's a power forward, either it's a small forward. It's a loaded draft class. You be bad this year. Obviously, you bank on the Warriors breaking up, and then you actually have a chance to win it all in the coming years. Towns is getting a lot of hate this year. I think it's not really deserved. Wiggins, Wiggins is overpaid and not really looking like the number 1 pick generational talent he was supposed to be. But Towns, on the other hand, he's still one of the best centers in the league, still one of the best NBA players in the league. I wouldn't say top 15. 20 maybe pushing it, but definitely I would say Towns is top 25 in the league, top 30 if you don't want to put him top 25. That makes him very good. And he just got that max deal in the offseason. Wiggins, you really hope with Butler gone, maybe he changes his style. Maybe just something clicks for him. Rocco, you're getting one of the best defensive wings in the NBA. Plus, he can shoot the 3 very well. You're getting Dario Saric, who's a very good playmaking power forward. And then, obviously, D. Rose is playing very well lately. So, it's going to be very interesting to see how they play. Obviously, they should trend towards the loss record, and they should lose more games, obviously, for the better pick. And then they can maybe compete next year or the year after. But it was a smart move for Minnesota. I'm not going to bash on them too much for this trade. Obviously, they lost the trade with the Bulls, and this trade really doesn't matter that much because they lost their trade with the Bulls anyway, so if they got anything for Jimmy Butler that wasn't as rewarding as what they gave up to Chicago, it was going to be an L, in which I'd rather have LaVine, Markkanen, and Dunn over Sarge and Covington. Yeah, we could have lived in a world where it was Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, Wiggins, Markkanen, Town. We definitely could have lived in a world like that. I know what we all thought, though, at the time. I don't care. It's because we're in the moment now. At the time when that trade happened, we all thought the Bulls got robbed, and it was a terrible return. But whoever that GM is, Gare Pax, I don't know his name off the top of my head. He did a very good job with that move. And yeah, the Bulls are trending in the right direction, obviously, but that's not the talk of this video. Sixers, obviously going to be trending. I think this makes them obviously better than India. I still think they don't change in my standings. I still think I'd rather have Boston, Toronto, and Milwaukee over them. But this will make them scary. And then I didn't think they had a chance at all making the NBA Finals. And this does give them a slight chance in a 7-game series in the NBA playoffs. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of this trade. Who won? Who took the L? What do you think's the outcome? I will be having a Jimmy Butler Sixers rebuild out later today. Don't know what time, so don't bang on me saying anything. So yeah, that'll be for me. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.